Hello. Let us discuss on artificial seasoning of timber. Which are the different methods of artificial seasoning? First is boiling, chemical seasoning, electrical seasoning, kiln seasoning, water seasoning, and microwave seasoning. Let us discuss each one of them in detail. Boiling. This is one of the method of artificial seasoning of timber. In this method, the timber is immersed in water and water is then boiled or exposed to the action of steam. We are going to spray the steam on the timber surface. During this process, the moisture content in the timber will be removed and it gets seasoned quickly. But this method is expensive and suitable for use on small scale. Only for small quantity of timber, this method can be adopted. This method we call it as boiling method. Next method is chemical seasoning, or we call it as salt seasoning. In this method, timber is immersed in a solution of suitable salt and then it is taken out and seasoned in ordinary way. Whatever the moisture which is present in the interior surface of the timber, which will be driven out in advance. So the interior moisture starts coming out and exterior moisture dries slowly. Because of this type of action, the external cracks are reduced. Okay, and this type of seasoning we call it as salt seasoning. Say in this method, timber is immersed in the salt and then it is taken out and dried naturally. So the seasoning will be quick in this case, and also it reduces the formation of cracks. This is how the chemical seasoning is done. Chemical seasoning is also called as salt seasoning. Next is the electrical seasoning. In this method, high frequency alternate currents are used. The timber, when it is green or when it is freshly cut, it resists the flow of current. As the timber starts drying, as the current passes through the timber, it increases, the resistance increases as the wood dries internally and also results in production of heat. Okay, because of this heat production inside, the timber gets seasoned. The moisture in the timber starts getting removed. This method we call it as electrical seasoning. Here high frequency alternate currents are used. So this is how the electrical seasoning is done. Next is the kiln seasoning. This is the most common method of artificial seasoning. This method is commonly used for seasoning of timber on large scale also. The drying of timber is carried out in a airtight chamber or oven, which you can see like this. This is a airtight chamber or oven. Inside this kiln, the timbers are stacked. The sawn timber is stacked in a kiln chamber in such a manner that there is a free circulation of air. So free circulation of air is possible. You can see the spaces between one timber and another timber. This is made for the circulation of air. And the circulated air, whatever the warm air which is produced, the heated air or warm air it is produced, it is circulated throughout the timber. Because of the circulation of warm air, the drying takes place, the seasoning takes place in a faster rate. Drying takes place in a faster rate. The circulating of air will brings down the moisture which is present in the timber. This is, we call it as kiln seasoning of timber. This is the kiln, as already I have mentioned. This is a airtight chamber. It's a airtight chamber, and here you have a vents, and the hot air is made to pass through these vents, and then we are going to, the hot air is made to pass through these vents, and the circulation of air takes place. Okay, and because of this circulation of air, the timber gets dried. Hot air is circulated. Next is the water seasoning. In this method, log of wood is kept completely immersed in running stream of water. The longer end of the log is kept pointing upwards the stream. The timber is taken out after 2 to 4 weeks. During this period, the sap contained in the timber is washed away by the water. Then the log is taken out of water and is allowed to dry under a shed, having free circulation of air. This is a quick method, but it reduces the elasticity and durability of timber, and this method makes timber brittle. This method is called as water seasoning. So what we are doing in this method? The log of wood is kept completely immersed in water, in a running stream of water. It is very important, running stream of water. And longer end of the log, whatever the longer end of the log is pointing towards the upstream direction. And it is kept like that for 2 to 4 weeks. During this process, whatever the moisture which is present in the timber is washed away in the water. So this method, and whatever the timber after 2 to 4 weeks, it is taken out and it is dried in free circulation of air. And one disadvantage is it makes the timber, it reduces the elasticity of timber and makes the timber brittle. So these are the different methods of seasoning of timber.